So what I do is I actually, what I do.
Bye.
Hello!
Hi. This is not going to be one of the more...
Kramer, we just said hello. That's all.
You want to say hello?
Welcome to another frequently asked question video.
Yes. This one may be one of the more boring questions we get, but it's a real question because we had the same one as always before we lived in the van, and they're really good questions. So we're just going to kind of answer, I guess, a few different smaller questions that sort of lump together.
So we're going to answer, how do we get mail and other legal things?
Let's go. So I think the first one to start off with is, how do you make van life legal? Because technically in America, our understanding is that it is not legal to live in an RV or a vehicle full time, for good reason.
Young lady, what do you want to do with your life?
I want to live in a van down by the river.
Well, you'll have plenty of time to live in a van down by the river when you're living in a van down by the river.
And we're not trying to break laws. These are our legal ways of how we do that. So prior to hitting the road, we established residency in Georgia, which is my home state, and we actually are using my parents' address in Georgia. And we even had a basic lease drawn up. We just printed one offline, had my parents sign it, had us sign it. And so we have in writing that we are Georgia residents. And so we even needed that lease to go get our new Georgia licenses when we first moved there. So before we even bought our van, before we even got anything going on the van, we were Georgia residents, and we have a lease that is still going with my parents. So we have record of our permanent address is there. I'm not going to tell you guys the address like I was about to, but that is our address.
Yeah.
And so that was our starting point.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a permanent address to...
Yeah, I mean, okay, so like we own our own businesses, and even if you don't, you have to be taxed somewhere in America. Tax season just passed, and so a lot of people ask, like, what did you guys do for that? So we had an accountant, thankfully, who handled a lot of this for us, but our address is Georgia, and so when we filed under my parents' address.
Yes.
Just like that, it was like an apartment we were renting. So
yeah, and P.O. boxes do not work.
That's not a permanent address.
Correct.
It'd be easier if it was, but it's not. Establish a residency somewhere, and your license plates and your driver's license and all that needs to be linked to the same place. Now that we have our residency established, that's sort of our starting point, we are legal. And from there, you can go on to get things like insurance for the van, and also renter's insurance if you have anything in storage or even anything that you want to bring in the van. I guess some people are different about how they cover you, but we have a really great insurance company. We go through USAA, and we discuss them in depth of what we're doing, and so they've helped us get covered the best we possibly can.
Yes.
Along those lines, we also have health insurance, but not through USA. It's through we did United Health, and so that is a really expensive thing that, you know, since we're self-employed, a lot of people have asked us, like, how do you guys do health insurance?
Yeah.
We bought our own insurance. That's just what it comes down to.
Yeah, and it's not fun, and it's not cheap, and
but you'll appreciate it if you break an arm.
Yes.
It's not a good idea to not have health insurance. We're big advocates for that.
Yes.
So, health insurance, you don't need it until you need it.
No.
It's one of the things.
Yeah.
Same for auto. Be insured, guys. After we became residents in Georgia, we had our licenses, all this kind of thing. We also registered our businesses in Georgia.
Oh, yes.
So that's important. So this may not be for you guys if you are not freelance or something, if you don't own your own business. But for us, it's important that our businesses followed us to our residency in Georgia.
Yes. So we get this question all the time. How do we get mail or maybe packages on the road? And there's several different ways that we go about getting mail, and there are several different resources that we do not use, but other people have told us or we've heard about them, and so we'll actually include those links down below as well.
May I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to cancel my mail.
Certainly. How long would you like us to hold it?
I want out permanently.
I think the first way that we get mail is by
my parents. So in reality, we're paperless on everything, but inevitably our credit card company and our bank, they still want to send us mail all the time. And junk mail. We still get junk mail.
Yeah.
Because the mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you got to get it out. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. And then the barcode reader breaks, and it publishes clearinghouse down.
So about every 3 or 4 weeks, my dad will send out a package to us wherever we are. We'll give him an address to a FedEx location, and he will mail out a package of mail. He even mails our junk mail, which we don't necessarily need, but he's generous enough just to keep it all together and then send it out to us. We're really fortunate that we have that, and my dad does do that for us, but there are other options if you don't have somebody who's willing to stay on top of that for you. So one of the things that's really important that my dad stays on top of the mail for us, which is really nice of him, is just our toll bills. So a lot of states have tolls, and if you let those go too long, they get much more expensive. And so my dad, anytime he sees like a toll mail or toll envelope come in, he'll like go ahead, just get it all gathered up and send it back out to us. So really thankful for that. There are some things that you will get in a actual mailbox, not digital. So you need to have some access to a mailbox or an address.
Yes. And how we get those items and where does he ship those to? There's 2 different places that we really like to ship our packages to, and that would be FedEx and UPS. Now, I will say that FedEx to FedEx is totally free for pickup. Which is super nice, and most of the time they're friendly.
And we've never had any problems receiving anything.
Yes.
So UPS is not as reliable as FedEx. FedEx, there's no question. You ship FedEx to FedEx, or even if you order something online, and you can check online usually who it's being sent by. And so if they're sending their package via FedEx, you can go ahead and give the address of a FedEx location. That won't be a problem.
Correct.
UPS, what they do say is that you have to call ahead to make sure that that particular store is okay with receiving packages. And we've done this several times, and we've had some really bad experiences and some really good experiences.
Yes.
So if you can use FedEx, use FedEx. If you can't, UPS is an option. There will be, usually it's a $5 fee.
Yeah.
He's been charged $10
I got
before.
charged $10 one time.
Yeah, but you want to call, because one guy, we forgot to call one time. That was our mistake, but we got there and the guy was really mad at us. I can't hold your package, and it was literally like this big.
It was so
very dumb.
We're sorry, UPS man.
Yeah, it wasn't malicious. We were trying to we just forgot, honestly. Things got busy.
Yeah.
But if you can use FedEx, use FedEx. If you can't, UPS is an option for a small fee, and it's still UPS to UPS. You can't have something coming USPS and then send it to a UPS store. That doesn't work.
Now one way to get mail, we have not used this, but we've heard that it works, but it is USPS. You can have it shipped to that post office in whatever town that you're in. I don't know how reliable that is.
Yeah, I've never had good experiences with the USPS. We've heard other van people say that, like Chris said, you can do this. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. There's plenty of other options out there to get mail. Apparently, all USPS places are supposed to allow this. But not all of them will do it. And if they do it, there's still a good chance it's going to get lost, or they're not going to know what to do if the package does come. I can't even remember how you address it, so don't rely on us for this information. We'll link to a website or some information about it below. So if you guys are interested in USPS delivery, check that link out.
Yes.
But I've had too many letters lost, and I'm not about to try confusing the Postal Service even more. Bless them. So,
so what if we're online and we see something on Amazon that we want to purchase?
Yes. This is where Amazon lockers come in handy. And they're newer.
They're newer. And so if you don't know what Amazon lockers are, they
look like lockers.
They're a locker, and a lot of times they're in Whole Foods, they're in gas stations, they're all over.
Yeah. Since Amazon actually bought out Whole Foods, apparently, we've never seen one that doesn't, but apparently every single Whole Foods location is guaranteed to have an Amazon locker now. And there's other plaplaces like 7-Elevens usually have them. Where else have we seen them? I see them in apartment buildings. I mean, transit stations.
It varies, and it varies on whatever city. But for the most part, I mean, they're in a lot of different places.
They're often enough that you can get a package if you need to. They're always in major cities now, and even smaller cities.
So how it works is this: you order something on Amazon, and then it takes Prime 2 days to get to you. They then put it in the locker, and then you have a certain amount of days. I've had 3. Sarah's had 7. To pick this package up. Now, when you go to that locker, you actually have an email that's sent to you, or you can open up your app and it'll produce this barcode or a like 6-digit number, I think is what it is. And you can go in, scan the barcode or enter in the number via app or email, and then the locker door opens up automatically and you grab your package and that's it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, and if it's like a giant oversized package, like say you're buying a bike on Amazon, I don't know how that works. I wouldn't count on using a locker because I think the biggest lockers they have are like that big. So it may not give you that option when you're ordering oversized items.
I think it will tell you, and it'll actually tell you on Amazon.com if that locker is full, and so you may not be able to go to that specific gas station. You have to find a different one around town that you can mail it to.
Yeah, so when you go to check out in Amazon, you'll pick the shipping address, and below like your saved addresses, there's actually pick up at an Amazon locker location or something. It says something along those lines, and you pick that, and then you can either enter the city name or the zip code, and it'll give you all the different locations closest first to that pinpoint, and you can pick up. It's really been a game
simple.
Changer.
Yeah.
I mean, we do like doing Amazon, but there are other options if you don't even have an Amazon account. Those being that now everybody's trying to keep up with Amazon, so like Walmart and Target and Home Depot and Lowe's. I mean, all these stores, and even like your local grocery stores, wherever you're at, you can actually do pick up in store. You can have things like if you order on Walmart.com, you can have those packages mailed to the Walmart store, and it'll be ready to pick up. And it's been seamless doing that too.
Yeah,
we've tried that a few times.
It's been great, and so getting mail on the road has actually been pretty easy for us. Now, with that said, there are other services that
you can pay for,
and they will have like an address for you, and you pay to have that address, and they'll send you digital copies of your mail, and so you can look at it via the computer and see what it is.
So, I mean, if you're comfortable with that, I mean, it's verified. These places are legit, but somebody will physically be opening your mail for you. So if it's absolutely confidential and you don't want anybody to see it, don't use these services. We haven't done it because it is really pricey, and my parents were just generous enough to offer to mail us our mail. If you are doing a van, or even if you're self-employed, taxes get real funny real fast. And so we would highly recommend using an accountant or something.
Yes. So if you're looking for tax stuff, or you're a freelancer and you're like, hey, I need an accountant, it sometimes is really hard to like figure out where to go, and so I'll tell you who I use. This is not a sponsored ad. The links that I do provide below, they are affiliate links, but they don't cost you anything. I think they actually save you money if you want to use them. So for accounting, I use bench.co, which is a great company, and they do a lot of great work in accounting. We have like a monthly call every month, obviously,
just
and
to sort of go through things.
Right? Just to go through things, and they do a great job to keep my books all clean. And then as far as taxes, I use TaxFile, and I'll put the link down below, but they do a great job at preparing just taxes, and so I don't have to worry about it and stress about it. So
and I think we should probably say that we've been with these guys for 2 tax seasons now, so at least a year and a half or so. And we've had great success with it. It's been great.
It's been no complaints here. So if you're looking for an accountant or you need tax work, check these guys out.
So we are freelance, but even if you're not freelance, there are still some people who want to mail you like actual paper checks in the mail instead of doing direct deposit.
That's a good idea.
Most of his clients are like direct deposit.
Yes.
But there are still a couple of his major clients who do want to send that physical check every time because he's technically 1099. Is that right?
That's right.
I always get the numbers mixed up.
So I'm a 1099, and so some people, they just want to do a check. So when that happens, sometimes you can have an accountant accept checks for you. I don't do that with Bench. So what I do is I actually, so I actually have the checks sent to the bank instead of to the accountant, because bench.co, that's one thing that they do not offer, is depositing checks.
We use Bank of America for business banking. I think other major banks do the same thing, but we've had great luck with Bank of America. We've never had any problems. It does delay your receiving the check a little bit, so do allow for that extra few days.
Because you're sending it to the national branch of, like of Bank of America or whatever. And then the one stipulation for Bank of America, and I assume that it would be for other banks as well, is that the account number needs to be on the check, and so you just have to make that clear to whatever client or whoever is sending the check.
And that has been a hang-up a couple times. We have had to send a couple checks back, or they'll send it back and say, we don't know what to do with this. So you do need to verify with whatever bank you use, if you are sending it to them, that you have the right information, that you know how to process it and that kind of thing, and make sure your client knows how to process it. But like we said, do allow for extra couple of days, and they're having those glitches every now and then. So, I mean, I don't want to tell you guys to budget because you know how to handle your finances, but you do need to know that things aren't perfectly smooth, but we've always gotten the money. So.
Yeah. So it may just take a little extra time. So that's it for this week's Frequently Asked Question. If you have a question that you want us to answer, whether it's about living in a van or down by the river, or if whatever question you want us to answer, make sure you head over to letsbe.us/questions, and there you can submit your question and we may pick it and answer it.
Yeah, and if we missed anything in this video and you have a specific question, be sure to drop a question in the comments below. We know there's so much surrounding like legalities of van life, so don't hesitate to reach out. We'll do our best to answer those.
Cool. All right, we'll see you next time.
See ya.